What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, we're back. Hey, we took a break for this bad boy right here. Your boy got married.
Let's go!
That's why we've been gone for 2 weeks. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, but we're back. We were on a little vacation. Kyle was there.
I
Gave
was.
a nice little speech. This guy.
Nah.
Oh my gosh.
It was nothing. Happy to do it.
It was incredible.
Thank you, pal. Your day was incredible.
Sensational.
You two were sensational.
Got up on the mic, and the first thing I said was, thank you to Movie Meal patrons. The few of you that still exist. Go get some merch.
That's the gold tier package. You got to go to the wedding. Sorry, pals. Missed out.
Well, we're here. We got a lot to talk about. I say we start with the Denis Villeneuve thing. That sounds fun. I'm sorry if I'm still darkly lit by the time this makes the air. We're working on things here.
Such as light bulbs. We're looking for those.
Light bulbs? Yeah, they don't exist anymore.
Not according to Hollywood.
28 weeks later. I live in Britain. Or 28 years. 28 minutes. But yeah, let's talk Denis Villeneuve. So it got announced that Denis doing Bond. There was a rumor that it was kind of down to him, I think, and Chris Nolan was really heavily rumored to maybe take up the mantle as the next big director. But Denis said, hey, when I'm done with Dune, I'd love to do Bond. So he's doing Bond. Yeah, Kyle, what do you think about all that?
Well, I believe Denis' words were, I have to finish Dune or Alex will kill me.
That's
so
true.
Naturally, that's going to be the schedule of things. He'll be doing Dune Messiah, and then he'll be on his way to Bond. For myself, I think that it wasn't too much of a surprise. I think that the past couple of years, the Bond franchise and those who run it have really made sure to get some high-quality directors and not just run-of-the-mill, hand-for-hire type directors. I feel like they've been really trying to make sure to just land a bit of prestige when it comes to their directors. So when it comes to getting Denis Villeneuve, clearly he has become one of the best in the game. His directing, his filmography, I should say, has been clearly impressive. And I think him landing Bond totally makes sense for this to happen. So with that in mind, yeah, I think that it's going to be fun to see what he's got up his sleeve in terms of what the next Bond will look like, or what the vibes of the next Bond movies are going to look like. I don't know if he's only doing multiples or if he's only doing the one, but at least for starting off the franchise again, he's going to kick things off in a big way, I'm sure. And I'm just happy to see Villeneuve keep getting high profile projects such as this. It is a little surprising because I thought he would want to scale back what he does for work after Dune ended, but I guess he still is ready to take on high-profile projects still. Hey, that's not bad either, especially Amazon money for Bond. That's going to be
Bond too. It's a different, it's a different beast when you are born and raised in the UK. Like Bond is a treasure, so it's like
for sure.
Of course, you got to take it.
For sure.
I mean, I was looking at the directors because I was curious who kind of did the last few. I mean, we had Mark Foster for Quantum of Solace, and Sam Mendes did Skyfall and Spectre, and Spectre was a piece of doggy doo-doo.
But
and
Skyfall
No Time
was
to
great.
Die was okay. Skyfall is very good. Casino Royale is pretty good too. And
that was a good one, yeah.
Cary Fukunaga did No Time to Die.
I like that one. I feel like people are too harsh on that one.
No Time to Die. It was fun. A good time.
Yeah.
It was time for Daniel to be done. It was time if they're going to do this if you want to breathe life into James Bond, because he is not the best spy out. He hasn't been the best spy in movies for a while. When you look at how good Mission Impossible's been the last few years.
Fighting words.
Bring in, I mean, if they were after Nolan or Villeneuve, and to get either of them was smart. You want someone to come in and change up everything, and bringing in Villeneuve, who is great at writing and then also directing. Nolan would have done the same. Like, that is the way to do it here. That's the way to do it. And I hope they just let him jump into his sandbox, do whatever he wants to do with Bond, to be as creative and unique as possible. Put him on Arrakis. Why not? I mean, why not, Kyle? Put him on the the Dune spice mines. You know what I'm saying? The spice fields. Come on.
I think that is the question that's gonna. Well, I guess one of two questions that's on everyone's mind is what is Amazon's. How much control will Amazon be dictating when it comes to this first Bond movie, at least? Like, are they going to be very hands-on in the creative process, or are they going to let Villeneuve like really go full throttle and do his thing? I know for like Nolan, I'm sure that they were courting Nolan, but I bet when it comes to what Nolan wanted, they said no, because Nolan is at a point where he wants full say of whatever movie he's making. And maybe Amazon didn't decide not to go with Nolan because of that reason. I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating. So I wonder if maybe the same thing is for Villeneuve and they just decide to say yes to him, or if there's a compromise between the two. That's like one of the biggest questions for me, at least.
Yeah, fair. The next big question is who's going to be Bond. That's the rumor. After he got announced, I briefly saw that there was a 3-actor short list, but there have been rumors a ton. Yeah, there's been rumors a ton. I mean, there's the rumor that you and I were talking off air that Aaron Taylor Johnson is screen tested, but the 3 names being floated around in the rumor mill right now are Jacob Elordi, Harris Dickinson, and Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm. Who are all like what, near their 30s, probably?
Yeah, actually, 30, I got 35. Their ages right here. Tom Holland's 29, Harris is 29, Jacob Elordi's 28.
Okay. I wonder how old Daniel Craig was when he first did Bond. Because that was in like what, 2007? 2005? Because I don't know. I guess for these guys, like,
is it Casino Royale the first one?
Yeah, that sounds right.
He was 38.
Oh, okay. So still late 30s. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm trying to recount like all of the Bond actors I've known, but I don't really think of them as like young in the sense of like early 30s, you know? So I think clearly they're thinking of like keeping whoever they want like for a long time and not just for like 2 movies, 3 movies or whatever. They want like him to be around till he's like 50. Which I don't know if that's feasible.
But by the time you get him hired and get shooting, they'd be in their mid-30s probably. A couple years got to go by still.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Craig started at 38 and he made 5 movies.
For like 15 years.
Yeah.
Whatever number it was.
And then Henry Cavill has been a name that has circled as well in the rumor mill to be the next Bond too. I know he's been talked about, but who all the names floating around those rumors? Kyle, do you like any of them? Do you wish it was somebody different? Why don't you? Oh, he just turns another lamp on. Really wants to make sure I'm not seen. He's trying to blind me.
I'm trying to shine in the direction of Philly. Which direction is that? Is it that way or that way? That way? Okay, let me see if I can.
We're always flying high here.
There you go.
Unless
does that help?
Trash on the street. That's a real thing. There's a trash strike going on. There's hundreds and piles of trash just on the streets of the city right now.
Well, city should pay the people in charge of trash.
They should pay their union. Exactly right, Kyle. Yeah. Amen, brother.
Yeah, no, I fully support that.
Harris Dickinson, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Tom Holland, Henry Cavill, and what was the other one? And Jacob Elordi. Out of those 5 names, do you love any of those? You got somebody else on the mind? Which way would you go if you were Denis? Just get Chalamet, give him a British accent.
I'm in the camp of wanting Dev Patel to do this so badly. There was an actor, I'll talk about him for F1, but the lead in F1 I actually think could be a cool option to do. Damon something, I think his name was. I'll check back later, but the guy from F1 I think is a good actor, and I think it would be cool to see him take on the helm. I liked what I saw out of F1. Yes, thank you. As far as his list goes, I don't know. It doesn't do much for me. I never really understood the early beginnings of like Aaron Taylor Johnson possibly being Bond. Like he's a fine actor, but
you hate him. Kyle and I
I
spent 2 days on a boat, and what we learned is how much Kyle can't stand Taylor Johnson. That's what we took away. I literally just got out of 28 years later. I was sitting there like, why does Kyle hate this guy so much? He's doing such a great job.
he's
I'm
just
loving it.
he's not an actor I get excited for. I don't know. Like he's fine. He's a fine actor. I just don't think I'd be excited if he became the next Bond. Although I'm sure he would be okay at it. But honestly, the same kind of goes for the rest of these guys. Like Tom Holland, I do enjoy Tom Holland, but after the Odyssey and him teeter-tottering on like Spider-Man, I just feel like the guy wants to do other things and not be stuck to a franchise. So I'm kind of rooting for him to, have some projects that aren't in a franchise again.
But Kyle, again, that was my dog. Again, Kyle, Brits you get the chance to be Bond. It's a
big deal.
You're not passing on Bond. If you're an actor from the UK, if Tom Holland's not going to be like, I don't want to be in another big franchise. He's like, I get a chance to be James Bond and Spider-Man. Are you kidding me? And he jumps right on it.
No, that's fair. I mean, the same could be said for Harris Dickinson, who I believe is British as well. Jacob Elordi, I actually don't know if he is British or not. I don't know where he's from.
He is.
Is he from Britain? Okay.
You can't be Bond if you're not from Britain.
I guess that's maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know.
I think there is.
But yeah, I don't know. None of these guys are really screaming out to me because like when it comes to, or I shouldn't say that this about Holland, but when it comes to their filmographies, like I've enjoyed their work, but I haven't been crazy about their work. Like Harris Dickinson, fine actor, but I haven't been crazy over him. Jacob Elordi, like he has been growing on me some, but I just don't get excited hearing any of these names. I don't know. Just none of these just really are screaming to me personally. Not that they aren't capable of pulling it off. I just, I don't see it. I don't get it.
I like the Dev Patel. Forgot that was a rumor for a while where it was kind of everybody wanting him. Aaron Taylor Johnson would be a great Bond to me. I don't know why you got such beef with him. I think he's a really solid actor.
But he's solid. He's fine. Like he's
incredible in Nocturnal Animals.
He's good. He is good in Nocturnal Animals.
He's great.
Yeah.
You kidding me? He was just great in 28 Weeks Later. Years later. He was excellent. I'd be okay. I mean, Harris Dickinson, I don't know much about. He's going to be the new John Lennon. I think he's playing John in the Beatles cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with Henry Cavill. I'd be okay with Tom Holland. I'm kind of okay with anybody. I don't care enough about Bond, to be honest, to have a strong opinion. I have never fallen in love with this franchise.
You need to be British.
Some of the movies are very good, and I really do enjoy them, but I've never kind of fully gotten it. And I do blame the girlfriend that showed me my first Bond movie, and I have since learned, showed me not arguably, it is considered the worst Bond movie of all time.
Yeah.
All I remember is we were in space, and I was like, what the heck's going on here? And I've had a sour taste for old Bondy ever since. But
poor guy. Didn't have a chance.
I'd be good with anybody, to be honest. If it's an unknown, cool. If it's not an unknown, let's see. I mean, I trust Denis Villeneuve so much. I don't think this movie could go bad with any of these actors because it's Denis Villeneuve at the helm.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Honestly, why don't we make Bond a woman? Let's do it. Come on. That's how, I'm ready. Okay. I love the Dev Patel casting. I think that would be great. Let's get Florence Pugh to be the new Bond. All right. Now we're
spinning. If no one went out to see Ballerina, would people go out to see James Bond as a woman? I don't know.
Did people not go out to see James Bond?
Not to see Ballerina.
Oh, I meant John Wick.
Sure.
All right. Do you want to move
on? Sure. I got nothing more to add. Should be interesting to see who gets cast.
Speaking though, I did see the Odyssey teaser. Made it in time for the previews to see
From
it.
Your bathroom break?
Universal made the right call, my guy. Those lights dimmed, and I was like, oh, dang, we must have missed it, because we also showed up a couple minutes late, because, it's 30 minutes of dang previews, and we knew they'd be playing, and it was like, oh, maybe it was because we only missed one or two, and it was like, maybe it was the first one that played. Lights dim, and then the little green thing comes on to say there's another preview, and we were like, the lights are dimmed, though. They don't dim the lights for previews, which they should.
Mhm.
And all the ads had already ran, too, which we were, like, shocked. And then the Odyssey trailer came on. And boy, oh boy, is this movie going to hit so hard. It's going to be awesome. That one little teaser, and all it shows is nothing. I mean, it shows a couple of scenes, but it is just Tom Holland and John Bernthal talking, basically, with a little bit of voiceover.
Stop.
And it was fantastic. It was so fantastic, I would say it 4 times. Because it's the Fantastic Four.
It switches to Fantastic Four trailer. Damn it, Disney!
It always comes back. The trailer was awesome, and I seeing it in the theater. I was like, "Oh man, this is cool!" Like,
I hope.
And then
yeah, you go. Sorry.
Well, then the date shows up, and it says like July of 2026 or whatever it said, and it was like, you're making me wait a dang year, Nolan. Come on. They're in the middle of filming in Sicily right now, but I want it now.
That was me with the Oppenheimer teaser
Same.
way back last year.
That's
Seeing it
true.
coming out in like 2024, it was like 2023 or something when they first dropped it. I was like, I need it now.
I know.
I need to know about the man that built the atomic bomb.
It was that first teaser where it's just the sparks flying around, and there was just a little bit of voiceover, and it would just zoom in on his face. Oh my God, Nolan! Oh man, Nolan and Denis are arguably the 2 best in the game right now, my guy.
They're on the list, dude. Absolutely. I'm so jealous that you got to see it. I hope, because I'll be seeing Superman as my next theater experience, going to an IMAX nearby, and I hope that's when they show it again. Maybe they won't. I don't know, but that would be awesome.
Just doing it in front of Jurassic World or not. But when are you seeing Superman? What day? You going opening night? Oh, you're waiting?
Saturday.
I'm going media blackout Thursday, Friday. I have to see it Saturday too because it filled up.
That'll be my media blackout too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to see it in IMAX. I can't wait opening night, and we have to travel too. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I looked at the IMAX here. I guess we could have looked at one in the city, but going into the city on a Thursday is always tough.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, we're gonna go Saturday in the afternoon, and at a really nice IMAX here. But speaking of Superman, let's just jump into some Man of Steel. We rewatched Man of Steel. Wanted to talk about the last Superman movie. I think I'm going to be watching at least the original Christopher Reeve Superman here this week, too, is the plan to get a little... I've actually never seen him. I've never seen a single Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen the Brandon Routh one. I walked into part of it when my mom and I got out of click sooner than my dad and my brother, and she was like, go find your father and tell him we're leaving. As my mom hated that movie. And I was like, Mom, I don't want to. And she was like, go find him. And I had to walk in and look around for my dad. And then walk through people and be like, we're leaving.
Mom's mad.
I
took her to click, and now she's mad.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't want to see it. I think it looked scary for me back in the day.
Maybe, yeah.
I spooked easy.
Weirdly enough, I also remember so many commercials from the Brandon Routh Superman, and it was like the right age for me to go see it, but I just never did. We weren't like a movie-going family anyway to begin with.
Cost too much for Gary.
Yeah. Well, he thought it was bad back then.
Yeah.
He has no idea. No, but I never did wind up watching the Brandon Routh one. Still haven't either. Guess we could have watched that too. But yeah, the Christopher Reeves, I had to truly appreciate those like when I got a bit older, just because of the age of it all. As a young kid, like it was a little exciting, but a little on the quote unquote boring side. But when I got older and rewatched them, like it was an experience. Like those are special movies.
I've never seen it. Maybe I'll watch that one too. I haven't decided, but I think for sure we're gonna at least watch the original first Christopher Reeve since I've never seen it.
I watched the second one too, just for kicks.
Which number is it where he makes the Earth go back in time by spinning the opposite way?
The first one.
That's the first one?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was when these movies started to get kind of goofy. They've always been
Nah,
goofy.
a little. Like the first one is definitely more earnest.
It's true. But Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's
A very earnest movie.
2013 movie. I haven't watched it in a long time. Kyle and
Hmm.
I used to defend the heck out of this movie in 2013,
Oh
2014,
yeah.
2015.
Oh yeah.
Kyle went full post-COVID and then started just hating on it. And then he rewatched it again within the last month, it sounds like, and I'm guessing you still hated it.
Yeah, although hate's a strong word. Like there's things that I still appreciate about that movie, but in general I have like gone around to not really liking the movie. Yeah. Which is a bummer because it was like special for me to see that movie. Um just around that time. Obviously I still was into superheroes and was loving that the superhero growth and popularity was on the rise. I appreciated like it being such a departure from like traditional Superman things that I have seen previously. And it was also just different compared to Marvel as well. So it didn't feel like everything was so much of the same when it came to superhero media. But I think over time, just in terms of my taste and just what I look for in superhero entertainment, but also just in Superman, the character specifically, it just doesn't strike a chord with me anymore like it used to. Like it doesn't represent Superman to me. And I think over time of just seeing more of Zack Snyder's work and just how he is as a filmmaker, I just have seen his flaws more in his movies, and it especially comes into play when rewatching Man of Steel.
Yeah, I thought the movie was fine. It was fun. Good time. I am not going to defend it like I used to back in the day, but we were also
Sure.
not as critically analytic, but I don't hate it like this guy over here. Uh, I had fun. To be honest, I was like, I wish Zack Snyder reined it in a little bit more. It felt like this was him reined in a bit more, and then he kind of got to let loose in some
With
of the others.
BVS.
And as soon
Yeah.
as it ended, you had to whip out that Comic-Con Batman v Superman trailer because that trailer, say what you want about any of those movies, but that trailer, are you kidding me? It was
He
incredible.
No, like that trailer, the Man of Steel trailers also are fire as well.
Very good.
Like that's the thing with for me with Zack Snyder as a director. Like he is a capable director. It's behind the camera, like visually, that guy makes things look not only very interesting and like very operatic, but also and like a lot of beautiful shots too. But it also he just knows how to make things feel big and grand in scope, which in theory like can work for superhero movies such as like Superman. It absolutely can, but I think the faults are like in how he interprets uh superheroes. Like he interprets them as like larger than life godlike beings, which yes, it's true to sum it all up,
I
but
mean, he is.
yeah, but I think he misses out on like the personal low scale elements of Superman. Like he doesn't give time to like deliver on humanizing those characters enough. I think he thinks that he does to some degrees, but overall he's really interested in
In the
like the
first,
power scalings and making these characters just way too larger in life than they really need to be.
the first
Again, just
30
for my own
minutes
taste for
is
like what I want out of superhero stuff now, part of it plays into that. But I just think with Zach, he really thinks more about like the big scale epicness a bit too much, and he thinks he is talking about like very humanistic stuff when really it just comes across as just one note to me. Like he doesn't really follow through on what he's trying to pick up on when it comes to the human side of things.
I agree with you for the most part, except I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he does that in Man of Steel. I think he actually is trying to make it. I mean, the first 30, 40 minutes is all about a young Superman not able to like adapt to the world. I think that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
serious and some good scenes, and I
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then when he gets into the other movies and Justice League and stuff, then I agree with you completely. But I think Man of Steel, he's reined in a little bit. And I think because at this time when he made this movie, he wasn't planning to become the new head of the DCEU. That wasn't their full throttle initial plan right away. And
Yeah, it
I think
happened
it
after, I
it works
think.
better. I actually disagree with you. I think one of the worst things about Zack Snyder is the way he shoots and how bad some of his shot choices are. His movies do not look pretty to me. They look bad.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
disagree with you on that. They're darkly lit. Everything is kind of goofy. Real bad CGI that has not aged well.
Sure. Maybe
Vanessa showing up, though. My girl Vanessa from Daredevil showing up as his mom threw me off. I was like, let's go. Same actress.
Oh, yeah, that is the same actor. Okay, yeah.
Vanessa.
I was thinking of Diane Keaton. I was like,
Vanessa.
Diane Keaton wasn't there?
Diane Keaton. You mean Diane Lane?
Lane, excuse me. I don't know where I got-
Jeez, this guy.
I'm all over the place.
You really are.
Pretty, maybe the word pretty isn't the right word, but I do think there are some shots where I just am like blown away by
The
what
IHOP.
he's able to visualize.
And boy, if a movie ever had more product placement, and I don't think a movie does, then
It's up
than
there.
Man of Steel. It's got a lot, man.
It's egregious. It was egregious back then. It's egregious right now.
Yeah, the product placement I feel like is not as wildly blatant as that kind of run in the late 2010s to the beginning of the 2000s, like after the 2010s. There was just like all the Transformers movies and everything were so blatantly obvious. I mean, when Lois Lane sets that Nikon camera out, that shot holds for a good 3 seconds before anything moves. So you have time to read the Nikon logo and think to yourself, oh, that's a Nikon camera.
It's so funny that there's like there is a contract that has been made for IHOP to be in a Superman movie, and it is advertised by having the entire thing be ripped to smithereens.
Yeah.
It's just at that point, do you even want to do it? You're IHOP. Who's
True.
We know who you are.
The biggest beef I have with this movie actually has nothing to do with the movie at all. It just makes me so sad and angry that arguably the best actress alive at this very moment in Amy Adams has gone on to have such a poo-poo career post this. Like, man, she went on to do Academy Award stuff after this, and then it just petered out. And I'm sure part of that is she's taking breaks and is choosing projects, and I know she had a tough time with David O. Russell on that one movie they made, American Hustle. I know she really got tortured there, and wrongfully so. Like, that is not okay. But man, I just feel bad for her because every scene, Zack Snyder, now those were some good shots. Zack Snyder was like, we're going to make sure Lois Lane looks incredible every time she's around. And she was a great Lois. I loved it.
No, I think the casting in this movie, like, I know I've been critical of Zack Snyder currently, but another compliment that I should give him is that he and whoever his casting director is, they are great at like nailing down who to represent these characters. I mean, for crying out loud, you got Amy Adams and Lawrence Fishburne in your movie. Henry Cavill, I don't think is like the greatest of actors, but I think he was a good Superman, or he was for like the direction that Zack was trying to do with Man of Steel.
He's a very good Superman. I think Henry Cavill's a really good actor. I do think the reasons fans have kind of really latched onto him is because he just kind of hit the fan base at the right time. He kind of hit the social conscience at the right time where he's like, I'm buff, I'm hot, I'm a nerd, I'm Superman, I'm going to be in this action movie, and then I'm going to jump into The Witcher that's so popular, and I just have fun making nerdy stuff. And everybody was like, oh my God, a hot nerd. Kind of Michael B. Jordan went through that where all of a sudden it was like, boom, hot nerd all of a sudden. And then I think people just latched on to there can't be another Superman than him because they just really loved him. But he was really good. This is the smallest he ever gets. I was like, man, he looks so young and he's huge, but he's so small compared to how beefy this guy's going to get.
Yeah, I did catch a bit of BVS as well, and the difference is, you notice the difference.
It's massive. No, it's massive. He is very, very fit in Man of Steel, but he not only just looks younger, but he looks quite a bit smaller. So,
and even still, he was exactly what you were saying. He's just buff, dude. No, I thought like physical wise, like he nailed the role. I thought there was elements where I could see like him pulling off like a more classic Superman for sure, but clearly that just was never the direction Snyder wanted to go with this movie, which at the time, again, was fine to me. I was all for the change and whatnot, but I think for me now, and just with many reasons why over the years, I've just been ready for a return of a more classic type of Superman,
And some of
personally.
that isn't to blame on Zack Snyder. I mean, DC wanted to move heroes in a darker direction after The Dark Knight. That is like blatant. They were like, no,
Yeah.
we don't want to be Marvel. We're going to make more gritty things. And
Mhm.
they hired Zack Snyder after hearing his take on Superman because he gave them the take that they liked.
Mhm.
So, it's not always his fault that Superman went in this direction. It was the original bigwig that then got replaced 15 times while Zack Snyder was still hanging out. And I did think watching the movie last night, like, I am excited for a Superman that is hopeful and really fills
Yes.
the hope. And it's not fair to Henry Cavill. He never got a chance to really do that. But
Yeah,
I'm
but
excited for it.
that was the mission right off the jump when it came to Man of Steel. Clearly, is like be hopeful, but also be dark and quote unquote edgy, like
I mean, he
Dark
kills
Knight
Zod.
was. Yeah, and the kill Zod thing, which it's so funny how that became such a talking point. I mean, for rightfully so, it's Superman and all that, but I don't know, it just feels quaint compared to, how crazy nerds are now when it comes to this type of stuff. Like, honestly, a conversation about Zod getting his neck snapped is I would much rather have that conversation compared to the other ridiculous, you know, combative arguments that we have over this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
And
these things are supposed to be fun.
now, though, you have something like The Boys, right? If your argument is, I want to see Superman, be the god he is, all right, go watch The Boys. Go watch that version of a Superman in Homelander. Like, that's where this has all led to, was to getting to this super violent idea of heroes. And I like going back to that. And James Gunn has publicly talked about, like, he wants a Superman that is not super like God-fearing, that yes, he is that strong, but he wants him to feel a little more reined in and feel like he is beatable and feel like he is, not this insane God among men. He wants him to feel a little bit more human in a way. And I'm
Yeah,
excited to see that version of Superman 1 week from yesterday. I'm excited.
me
I'm
too, man.
excited for it. He's my Superman. He's a Philly guy. David still lives in Philly. He's probably out there right now tossing his trash on the sidewalk because they're not picking it up. Pay your unions.
It is funny. I didn't really grow up with a live action Superman. I mean, I guess Henry
You did.
Cavill would
You
be the
literally
one. Who would be mine?
Henry Cavill. You just answered.
Oh,
your own
yeah.
question.
So
Who
we're
is
agreeing
your
on the same thing.
Superman, Kyle?
Yeah, but not overwhelmingly.
Well, it used to be. Back in the day when you weren't thinking of film analytically and you were just a nerd enjoying nerdy things, you were dying on that hill. In an IHOP, you and I argued for that
It's
Superman,
true.
man.
Very ironic it was in an IHOP. Yeah,
It was.
very ironic. I guess the product placement worked more than we
And
thought.
I just like arguing, and then, hey, that argument hit its breaking point when the person we were arguing with, hey, I haven't actually seen the movie. And we were like, what?
Those
We
are the
were like,
best
you
kind of
can't
arguments.
be real.
Those are the best kind of arguments when people are arguing over nothing they know about.
I know. Love you, Zach.
Call him out.
Yeah, he doesn't watch the show.
I don't know. Some final positives then. I think the action, just the action was well shot in my opinion. I found it to be engaging, even though it's like way too long of like
You mean
action
the
sequences
punches that make you go flying?
Yeah, it looks cool. The flying in this movie looks good too, and the score is obviously
looks
fantastic.
dated. The score looks incredible. The CGI is dated.
You think it's dated? Okay.
It does not look good, Kyle. You're insane. Oh. If that came out today, you would be like, what in the Marvel is this? You'd be like, get Tom Cruise out here so he can actually hit people. That is nutty. And at the time, it was good. It has aged. I think it has aged.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it looks good for the time, for 2013.
Yeah, maybe I was looking at it through that lens, and
yeah,
I don't know. I thought it looked good. Yeah,
it looks all right. The score is incredible. That is the one thing the DCU always dominated with, was it had one heck of a score.
Yeah. The music's awesome.
And boy, do you hear that theme so much in that movie? It was like every 20 minutes you'll hear the ba-na, na-na. Like, it was like, all right, Zach, we get it. We get it. You love the first 30 seconds of the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just funny. But anyway,
Yeah.
anything else on Superman and your excitement here?
Yeah, I've said enough about Man of Steel, and I'm looking forward to this next Superman movie. Just a blast from
Hope
the
it's
past.
good.
Hope it's good, man.
Has there been early reactions to it? I thought some people have seen it.
Probably. I don't know.
Wasn't this movie also supposed to be
Let me
called something
guess, they
else?
loved it.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just asking. I haven't seen anything.
Sorry,
Wasn't it supposed
what
to be called Superman Legacy or something?
Yeah, that was the original title.
Boy, I'm ready for the world to meet Rachel Brosnahan and fully understand how amazing she is.
Amen.
Well, there have
Great
not
casting.
been reactions, and as much as Kyle's always like, early reactions, and there's truth to that, but if we don't get some reviews in the next few days, it's not going to look good.
You don't think so? You think that's a warning?
It's always a warning. If you don't let people talk about your movie, it means your movie's not good.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If there's
Not
no
nervous.
tomato meter release by Wednesday afternoon, expect it to be in the 60s or lower.
Yeah.
I
really
feel like
hope-
some
I really
people
hope-
have seen it. I bet the embargo lifts soon.
I would think so.
I bet it lifts soon. I feel like I've seen some people say, like, I've seen Superman and it hit. Like, it was awesome. So I think there have been some little things here.
There must just be a very tight embargo if even they're being hush-hush. Early reactors are being hushed about it.
Let's see if I can find it. Superman embargo lift.
Where is it?
First thing that pops up says Daily Beast accidentally breaks embargo with brutal review, then deletes it.
Wow. Daily Beast did that? What a shock. What's
Yeah,
a Daily
Beast
Beast
is garbage.
I don't know. If the publication that you are reading has like a weird name for it, maybe don't read them. I don't know. Because some of these websites have weird names where I'm like, that can't be a legit name. Daily Beast?
Yeah,
Who came
Daily
up with that?
Beast,
12-year-old?
comicbookmovie.com, Comic Book News,
I've heard of one
Cosmic
called
News.
one called Cosmic News. I heard of Dark Horizon, and they
never trust.
I'm like, who's reading you?
Never trust them. I hope it's at least 70s or higher. 70s or higher means that there's just enough turds out there to be upset, but it'll still probably be pretty good. That's my hope.
Just don't be a low number, I guess. I don't know. I'm media blackout for me. I'm gonna try to avoid it all.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I have to for my own health.
Got a few, got a little bit of time left. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I can start off with talking about Fujishin Scheme.
Sure.
That's a movie I caught up with. The next Wes Anderson flick that came out a few weeks ago. One that I enjoyed as well. Not to a very strong amount, but enough to where I give it a good recommendation. I thought that it was interesting because it reminded me of Life Aquatic, in that for Life Aquatic, it was a movie about rekindling a relationship with a tough father figure, and it came from a very young point of view through the Owen Wilson character in that movie. And here with Fujishin Scheme, it's not the same movie, but it's the opposite effect, where it is about mending a relationship with a father, but it's more of from the father's perspective of him trying to rekindle his relationship with his daughter. So it kind of goes down that same route in talking about father and child relationships trying to be mended, but also just from a point of view of an older perspective of living through life, and maybe not living through with good intentions throughout your life. Because the main character, played by Benicio del Toro, who's a great lead for this movie, by the way, he plays an evil, corrupt businessman who's trying to turn his life around, but still is trying to get out what he usually does and like making some sketchy deals and just being a sketchy businessman in general, which is obviously timely for what we're going through currently. But just in terms of the relationship aspects and through the way that Wes Anderson shoots the movie is just a very interesting addition to his filmography. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Again, Del Toro is great as the lead. Michael Cera is awesome as in like a supporting role. I hope that he and Wes Anderson can continue to work more down the road. I think that's like a great pairing between the two of them. And yeah, I just give it a thumbs up. Very good Wes Anderson movie. Not one of my favorites of his, but still a good time.
I was looking up stuff about Wes Anderson while I was listening to you and just saw an image of Riz Ahmed, and I was like, he'd also be a great Bond. He's older.
Ooh,
He's in his 40s, but he'd be a great Bond.
I love Riz Ahmed.
Cool. Yeah. Phoenician Scheme has been on my list, but it's something I'll have to just catch later down the road. That's kind of where Wes Anderson's movies are headed to these days. It feels like everyone that comes out just kind of...
It feels the same to you?
No, there used to be a time when a Wes Anderson movie came out, it was everybody talked about it. It was everywhere. And now I just hear a couple of the hard film buffs talk about it, and then it's what's next? And I feel like he's kind of fallen by the wayside in terms of this like incredible auteur. Not that he isn't, but I mean, I've never been in love with his movies, but I've liked him more and more as time has gone on. I mean, I love Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah, fantastic movie.
And I liked, what was the last one that just came out? What was it called? The Asteroid City. I liked. I thought was fun.
That one needs more love. That's a good movie.
Yeah, like Isle of Dogs was all right. Like I just, he's got his style, but it's just interesting. I feel like it's like Asteroid City. I remember they marketed a lot. I don't remember much marketing for this. Like it's just feeling that way, but
yeah, it's odd. I think his career lately has been interesting in terms of what he's diving into. But for some reason, it seems like even the diehard film buffs out there are like feeling like it's all a bit of like the same when it comes to Wes Anderson. It doesn't feel new. It doesn't feel fresh.
Which his style is something.
Right. I get it to a degree. It feels a bit over exaggerated at this point, but I get where they're coming from. But I don't know. I guess because I'm growing more as a Wes Anderson fan, because I'm getting older,
post COVID,
I've been more excited for his work compared to other people.
All right, what's next?
Well, how about you? What have you been able to see?
Watched Anyone But You finally the other day.
So good.
Sweeney, little Glenn Powell. Yeah, it was a good time. I just got out of 28 Weeks Later. I really wanted to see it before the whole wedding week started and didn't get a chance. And I loved it. It is awesome. It is so good, man. I did watch 28 Weeks Later because I had never seen it, but the fact that this hasn't been on your list is wild. 28 Days Later is one of the best zombie movies of all time, and 28 Years Later is up there competing with the best of the best. It's awesome. Really good. Yeah. I love the direction they took it in. It gets weird. The ending was funny and weird and scary all at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, Go Power Rangers. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And there's like a dark history to the sequel that is coming out this year, right? Isn't it coming out in like November or something?
January, I think. Yeah.
Bone Temple? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought they shot these back to back. Did Nita DaCosta? No, Danny Boyle did this one. Let's see.
Nia DaCosta directed the next one. But I still need to watch the first two. That's why I want to wait until.
You've never seen 28 Days Later?
No, I missed it.
Kyle, run!
I gotta do it. Especially after your recommendation, I gotta be watching.
And 28 Weeks Later is not very good.
Should I skip it?
Yeah. There's no actual like connection. They did show some scenes in 28 Years Later and kind of a montage of like stuff that's happened that are from 28 Weeks Later. But I mean, 28 Weeks Later ends a certain way that they just completely ignore and retcon that.
Halloween effect.
But No, 28. Ray Fiennes in this movie. Oh my God, he was awesome, and
Mm.
he's not in it much. And yes, the alphas were indeed alpha, if you know what I'm saying. Um, but the young actor, let's see, what's his name? Let's see if I can find it real quick. The young actor is really really good.
Mm.
I thought he was awesome. No, that's not
Is
him.
he the
Alfie
son of?
Williams. He was
Sorry.
great as Spike in the movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson, as much as Kyle, not a big fan, he was really good. But it really is just down to Alfie and Jody that steal the show, and then Ray Fiennes sneaks in and adds something else too. Like, it is really good. The way it's shot is so insane. Their style of zombies, they're not even really zombies. It's just this rage virus is just awesome. It's so cool. It's so unique. The way they handle everything, and the ending sets up for something to be scary, like really scary when you
Oh.
really think about it. And I've heard about the way that the ending sets up Bone Temple and some new characters you get introduced, played by Jack O'Connor, who's having a field day with these funky characters from Sinners to now this.
Mm.
But I've heard some of the inspiration of his character moving into Bone Temple, of the real life inspiration and who he's based on, and it is scary, and it makes sense why the ending ended kind of so goofy and campy, and yet like really kind of creepy all at the same time. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I am so bummed I did not see it right away, but I'm so glad I finally got a chance to see it. It was awesome.
Well, you had a wedding. Don't beat
Should
yourself
have
up
taken a
over
break. Should have taken a break. But yeah, I loved it.
it. Awesome. I can't wait to
What
watch
else you
it.
want to talk about? What else you seen here, pal?
The only other thing that I've really seen is F1.
I'm gonna
I
see
was
it
able to
tomorrow.
catch that. You're seeing that tomorrow? I
Yep.
think you're gonna have a good time with it, man. Are you seeing it in IMAX?
No, no,
Ah,
not
it'll
making
still
a
be
drive
good.
up there for Brad Pitt.
Nah, fair enough.
I've also
I-
heard you are the most positive I've heard anybody talk about F1, so I have mid of the road expectations.
no, and I think that's fair. I mean, I am pretty high on this movie. I had a great time watching it. I thought when it comes to the director Joseph Kosinski and
Yep.
what he's been able to do technically and cinematography wise when it comes to like Top Gun Maverick and now with F1, like the dude just knows how to make um, high speed anything just so thrilling. All of this racing scenes I thought were great and just were shot very well to where I was just like holding my breath and was having my heart racing, just enjoying just the high speed chaos of like F1 racing. And the way that the F1 stuff is described, if you are not familiar with racing such as I am, it doesn't matter too much. Like they describe it a little bit in terms of like you getting the gist of needing to start here, there's X amount of laps, and then you end here, and you just go fast and you get first place. Like, and that's all that you really need out of this movie. That's all I really needed when it comes to like the explanation of racing. So it doesn't dive too deep into the minutia of that sort of thing, but I think for like just a fast-paced blockbuster such as like with the racing stuff, it works well enough.
Yeah.
I get the criticisms of what people are saying with this movie. Mainly what I hear the most of is that like relationship wise, like it's not completely strong enough to where it has much meat to the story, which I get to a degree. I think more so like when it comes to the two leads played by what was it, Damon Idris and Brad Pitt. I think their characters were good foils off of each other because they were doing a great job when it comes to like the acting in the moment of everything. But I think story wise, they do miss a few beats and they do miss a few extra nuggets to really make sure there's like a really satisfying push and pull between the two characters before they really have like a great coming together moment. Everything kind of just feels a little bit run through the mill. It feels a little bit flat, but I think acting wise, like they really do a good job of like carrying that to where you can buy into the story well enough. So I think that's like the biggest criticism I see, and I think that's fair.
Not
But
strong enough story beats in 2 hours and 35 minutes is wild.
that is the wild part for sure. And I don't think it needed to be 2.5 hours either. I thought that was a bit silly. Not that the pacing of the movie is bad, but just for how much action there is, and then so little of like the meat of the story is there. Like you don't really need it to warrant that length of time. So
Gotcha.
that is like a huge criticism that I do have for it, is that it's really unwarranted. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's just a really good vehicle, no pun intended, but a good vehicle for like some really good acting and some good character moments. But I just wish they were fleshed out and were helmed together by a stronger script. But otherwise, if you're in on the racing, you're gonna have a good time with the racing. And for me, that's just what I became a sucker for at the end of the day. So fun to watch on a big screen, but story wise, good enough, but not quite there yet to where they really nail it home.
Did Apple really just go to Joseph Kosinski and they're like, let's do Top Gun Maverick again on the ground? And he was like,
Most
all
likely.
right.
Most likely.
Yeah, no, I am excited for it. I like racing movies, love Ford v Ferrari. So I'm very curious and excited to see it. I should be going tomorrow unless something changes and I choose to go Tuesday. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see it. Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything else really these days. I guess Squid Game finished Squid Game season 3, which is really just season 2 part 2 because Netflix has somehow tricked everyone into believing that their third seasons are seasons, and in reality they are just a one season cut in half because they can't actually publicly say that they've made a massive mistake by giving everything all at once because it actually isn't good for their platform.
Yep.
And I'll die on that hill. But I loved it. I've seen a tiny bit of criticism and I get some of it, but I love the first season of Squid Game is one of the best seasons of TV I've ever seen. Season 2, and I'm going to call season 2 all of this. So all of season 2 and 3 technically. I thought it ended right, but also left me like, really, that's it? Like I wanted more in a good and a negative way. And you've never seen any Squid Game, right? You're a hater. You're about to be 4 years back, right? You're waiting.
Yeah, at this, I've only seen, I don't know, maybe the first episode. It's been so long now. I don't remember.
It's so good, Kyle. It's one of the best first seasons of television ever. And you just hate.
I don't know, man. I just need to be in the right mood to watch like really sad stuff, I guess. I don't know. I just wasn't able to pick up on it.
Fair enough, but it's really good. Yeah. We have not talked enough about how good we are eating on TV this year. I mean, Squid Game's a banger. Haven't watched The Bear yet. The Bear's newest season yet. Just dropped about a week ago. Hyped. I've heard it's really good. I know my girl Brie Larson's in it. Hyped to see that. Andor might be the best show ever freaking made. Severance season 2, just to name a few. I know big shows that I don't watch that have ended, like You and all these things that people love. Like people been eating on TV, man. We've been eating good.
Yeah, man. It speaks volumes that TV has just been doing that good with a long list like that. It's nice to be able to have both. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a dry spell for movies or for TV personally. But at least maybe for me. I don't want to speak for anyone else. Yeah. I just listed a few good ones.
I'm sorry I'm yawning. I was up late finishing Squid Game.
All good. You did it for the channel. You did it for the channel.
For the meals. All right, guys. I think we'll wrap it up there. Yeah. What did you think of everything talked about? Comment below. Let us know. I'm going to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.